Hey, what's up, guys? Back in Rock Life Studios for episode 220 of Out the Top, May 27th, 2024. Back, Dan Carter's with us. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
You know we're creeping in on episode 50.
That's wild.
We're real close. So we're gonna have to plan something. I mean, it's 50. It's not 100. It's not 200. It's not 500, but it's something.
For sure.
You know, when we were expecting to do 10 of these and get bored of it.
Right.
So we'll have to come up with something good for 50. I'm not sure exactly when that is, but it's close. It's really close.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So we'll have to come up with something good for that. Guys, don't forget, use code OUTTHETOP at Rock Life Offroad or rockliferacing.com to get 10% off your entire order. While we're doing a little plug, I got my hat on, got my new GM Goodwrench Heatwave shirt on. We started carrying Heatwave in the store at Rock Life, Heatwave Visual. So if anybody is interested in any of that stuff, check us out. We had it at the last race at Rush. It sold extremely well. And since it done so good, and we've already had to make 2 reorders at the shop, Heatwave's jumping on board with us this year.
Right.
Gonna make sure we got the swaggy swag and all the possibles.
Right.
And so you'll be seeing more of that stuff. Hopefully they like what we do.
Oh, yeah.
And they hang around.
Yeah, man, they got tons of cool merch and tons of great glasses. We went out of town for Memorial Day weekend, and we wore ours all weekend long.
Well, I seen your post the other day. I think it was yours. It was a story or something where I think you had got this shirt and the GM hat. Was that you? Yeah.
No.
I didn't say anything because evidently we ordered them the same day. I got mine in that very next day. I got a hat and a t-shirt. And I was like, well, that's another thing. Me and you are going to show up to the racetrack wearing like
twinsies.
That we do every weekend. Our wardrobe is race clothes.
That's it.
So it is what it is. We got other cool merch. We got the new Rock Life Racing hats. They're available at the store. We got pit shirts on the way. Hopefully I'll have them. I'm really hoping I get to bring some to Hawk Pride with us this weekend. It's going to be close. They're in transit. So maybe we'll have them down there. So I'm coming to Hawk Pride this weekend. I'll have a handful of that stuff with me in the truck, not bringing the vendor trailer. So if anybody sees us, you want to grab a hat, some stickers, decals. I can't talk. Holler at me. I'll have some. Dan will have some. Get your swaggy on. So Memorial Weekend. What all? You said you was down in Tennessee. So what's the weekend like for you?
Yeah, we had planned on doing Brimstone, and then I guess you had foreseen the weather forecast, and I'm kind of glad we didn't because I think that was a washout.
There was a good crowd down there, but we used to go down there every year, twice a year. Yeah. And I want to get back to that, but I have to let the event build back to what it was.
Right.
And it's getting there. It's getting there.
Yeah. Yeah, so Dolly called and said she was having a little shindig at her park, and we decided to jump in the car and go up there and check it out.
That's cool. That's one of my and everybody from anywhere within 3 or 4 hours of that place, it's their go-to place. I mean, it's convenient. There's all kinds of stuff. There's more stuff you can do down there in a month.
Oh, yeah. And like our goal was just to go to the park. Like, no kidding. It was just kind of a last-minute trip. Decided to go and met Wild Wyatt Wilson and his bride up there, and we wanted to go to Dollywood, so we went. We learned a lot. And lo and behold, we were coming off of a ride, coming down the hill. All these people were standing like in the middle of the street, did not know what was going on. And then bam, there was Dolly coming through on a horse and carriage type deal. Mm. It was pretty wild.
Did you get to ride the train?
No.
Dude, everybody's got to ride the train.
We were planning on riding the train. Got there, was standing in line to get on the train, and it moved like 15 foot. And then we saw that they closed the gates, and it's an hour between train rides.
Yeah,
so we would have had to wait another hour.
Yeah, you got to get there early.
We we decided to do what grown folks do. We turned around and rode the carousel right across the way.
Yes. Yes. That is it's a nice carousel.
Yeah.
It's been a year or two since I've been down there. They've done a bunch of different stuff. I'd like to go back.
Oh man, yeah, we had a blast. I would just kind of warn everybody. The summer months are a lot busier, so go ahead and spend the extra money and get that fast pass.
Oh yeah.
You'll get to zoom ahead of the line. Other than that, man, it was great.
It's that whole area down there is pretty cool. There's just it's kind of like a boat though. It's break out another 1,000 when you go into that town.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's stuff everywhere. We didn't get to do much. We hung around the house. Had plans on having a big cookout yesterday. The weather told us that wasn't going to happen. We had some pretty severe storms come through. We just kind of hunkered down and let that go. And then today it was still a little on the cool side today here. So we just we worked on the studio here, worked around the house a little bit, done some things. Nothing major for us. Memorial Day is one of those weird holidays, like, and please don't take that the wrong way. It's kind of like one of those things where you got everybody wants to go party, go to the lake and do this and do that, and that's fine, that's good. I just have a hard time anymore celebrating Memorial Day that way.
Right.
I just like to hang around the house and hang out with Timmy and do what we can here. There's plenty of other times to go do stuff.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of like staying out of the crowd, and that was kind of our deal. Like I had no idea that it was Memorial Day weekend when we decided to go to Dollywood. Just totally slipped my mind. But it wasn't as crowded as I thought it would originally be. So, and I don't know if the weather had a lot to do with that. It did storm earlier that morning, but
listen, if you want a real experience of Pigeon Forge, Sevierville, and Gatlinburg, show up down there on a weekend when you don't know it's a car show weekend.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine how
that's
crazy
the worst time ever to roll up in there not wanting to go to a car show.
Right.
Because you can't move in that daggone place. Moving on. So I made a Facebook post the other day. I don't know if you've seen it. You know how Facebook pops up and it'll have like pictures from years ago, and then it'll want you to add, tell your story or some crap like that. Well, it popped up with, I've only got one picture of was the donor for the red buggy.
Right.
I only have one picture of it, and it's on Facebook. I don't know why. I just only wrote it once before we took it apart. Well, it popped up, and I'm like, well, that's cool. I'll add to that picture. I'll add a picture of the blue buggy.
Right.
I got to thinking about it. Out of that donor buggy from 2018, there's 2, maybe 3 parts left.
Right.
That's it. I think the what was it? The gauge cluster,
right?
The air box, and maybe the air intake. Back where the plenum's at, and a few other little odds and ends, engine accessories, stator covers, and things like that. But for the most part, there's nothing left.
Right.
We have either sold off or destroyed everything. I do have a fender hanging on the wall at the shop.
Yeah.
that come off that. But other than that, like we have sold off or destroyed everything that was the original, I guess, chassis donor.
Right.
That's just crazy to me.
Oh yeah.
That there's you buy that. Of course, when I got started, I didn't have a donor. I had to go
Right.
find one. I didn't have parts and pieces laying in the floor. Didn't really at the time even have the know-how how to go about getting all the right parts and pieces. You know,
Right.
was still learning. So you start with a full machine, and then you're like, well, I remember it had an Evo exhaust on it. I was like, well, I'm not going to run a big muffler on the back of that buggy, so we'll sell that. Sold it.
Right.
It had some different suspension parts on it that we weren't going to run. Well, we'll take those off. We'll sell them. So the only thing we ended up using was motor transmission wiring harness anyways.
Right.
Some brake lines and calipers, things like that. But nothing else translated. And had I realized that, I guess at that time, I guess it is way cheaper, unless you just luck upon a junked razor. It's way cheaper just to piece it together to start with.
Right.
So anybody's wanting to build a buggy, just start collecting parts. It's not, I ruined a perfectly good razor. I mean, ruined.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. When we transitioned that first ever buggy of mine from a 900 to a turbo, that's basically what I did. Like I had a guy tell me to, at first, let me go back a little bit. At first, our intention was kept busting transmission. So then it was like, let's see if we can put a turbo transmission in with this 900 engine. And then halfway through that, realized that it was much easier just to go with the engine and transmission rather than just the transmission. So we bought a lot of spare parts from, guys like Rob Clinton with UTV Lab, just people like that helping us out, scavenge for parts. And generally, like you said, is a lot cheaper than it is to try to find a donor. To buy a transmission here and there, an engine, and some plenum boxes or clutch cover, stuff like that. What we needed to do to piece that thing together.
well, you can find now you can get a complete engine, transmission, clutch assembly, and sometimes with the wiring harness for like $8,500.
Right.
Like I said, I ruined a perfectly good trail rig. It was a 2016 and 2018, so it's 2 years old. It's brand new.
Right.
Ruined it for what? So we're going to Hawk Pride this weekend, though. That was I did get to race there one time. It's pretty interesting. I had no idea. That was one of those deals. I left here at 5 in the morning, got down there, got lost, rolled in, panicking, thinking I was about to miss the drivers' meeting. Didn't realize they were on slow time and I'm on Eastern time. And I'm like, well, I had a whole hour to spare. I was calling Dave Z. I was like, Dave, I'm on the way. Don't let them don't let them think that I'm not coming.
Right.
And he's like, dude, you got an hour. Chill out.
Don't start without.
Yeah, I was like, I drove all this way. I want to race. But that was a cool little place.
Yeah.
So that was one of my few races. What, that was where your first win was. What's a cool? You got a cool Hawk Pride story? Something that I don't know. Something really hangs with you.
I got a couple of them, man. It's not really my hometown park, but it is in Alabama. It's about 3.5, 4 hour drive from our home to Hawk Pride. But over the last several years, that's where RBD is taking place. So we go up there for that, and we do a lot of trail riding up there. We take Super Grip there, kind of do a little bit of tire testing from time to time. But probably my most memorable moment there was when we took your Rock Life buggy and we sailed it right up Maverick, straight to the top of the podium a couple of years ago. That was pretty sweet. And then I also think I've told this story before in the past, but there was an RBD Bounty Hill back years ago. As soon as we got that turbo buggy back going from the 900 swap, we sailed that thing up, and that video went viral.
Yeah.
Come back down, and it hit, and all I could hear was Joey Beck screaming, "Hit it again!" And I thought the car was still in good shape, but that thing kind of crab walk up on its side, and I hit it again and rolled over on its side. And then there's some good video of that, and there's also a pretty cool picture that Hawk Pride had wound up with, and it's like me kind of inverted, I guess, and it's like they've got some kind of slogan on it. I can't remember what it says, but that was pretty cool. But the neatest thing about it was, as far as my knowledge goes, I was the first one to hit that in a UTV, and I think I was the very first one to climb that in UTV, because the following year, Outlaw made that part of the race, and I was a late entry, and they threw me up that hill first time, and I was the first one to climb it, supposedly.
You in the red buggy too. Now I don't know if anybody done it before, and I don't think nobody's really done it after. I forget the name of the hill.
I think they called it No Respect.
No, not that one.
Or
the other one that the red buggy went up.
Maverick.
I don't know how many people's ever made it up it in the UTV.
I don't think there's a lot. Since they've changed things, I know, like back in the day when all the rocks were kind of compressed up there, a few guys were able to like crawl it and play with it. But as far as like race mode, I don't think there's probably like a handful of guys that's been up it.
Yeah, in competition, I don't think there's been many. I'm not. I'd have to go back and of course that was what, in 20.
I think it was 22. Or 21.
It's 21. I'd have to go back and check footage from the last few races down there. I'm not sure if anybody else has been up it or not. I know that hill's gnarly.
Oh, man, that has produced a lot of carnage.
And I feel bad for the bounty guys this weekend, because you're going up it.
Right.
I mean,
and supposedly, I don't know, it's hearsay, I've heard that Clyde purchased some of those rocks to take to his shop, and it's just kind of one of those like parking lot little mall crawls courses he's got set up, and that's supposedly where some of the rocks went. So I haven't seen the hill lately to see if that's true or not.
Yeah, I've not been since last year, so I don't know. It put on a good show. Last year we just come down on Friday and got to film some on Friday. This year I'm coming down. I'm going to stay Friday and get film Friday and film Saturday. So I look forward to it. I heard through the grapevine that y'all are going to eat seafood Friday night, and I'm riding in the bed of the truck. So
no, you're going with us, and you're going to gorge out.
I'm going to ride in the bed. If I have to ride in the bed of the truck, I'm going.
Yeah, you'll be there. There's a place that's called Juicy Crab, I think, and we'd never heard of it until Dustin Havens was like, "Hey, y'all want to go eat dinner with us?" I think it may have been lunch or something. I was like, "Man, we can't go." And they went, and he came back, and he's like, "Hey, y'all want to go eat dinner with us?" And I was like, "Well, probably where y'all going?" Same place we went and ate lunch. Man, Brantley's is pitching a fit for that place. I think they ended up eating there 2 or 3 times over the weekend, but man, they've got pretty good seafood. So
that's awesome.
That's where we're going to head, and it's like one of those I guess like a broil in a bag type deal. And man, you get that stuff all over you. It's all over the table. It's a mess, but it's a good time.
I look forward to this weekend. Not having to deal with the selling merch part of it. Just get to come hang out. It ought to be a good show. I'm excited. So we do have some other stuff. We're gonna have to get this in before supper Friday. Our next episode of The Business of Rock Bouncing is scheduled to be filmed, recorded down there. We have got a pretty cool guest that I think is going to be very informative. Not going to mention names yet. We'll wait and see how that comes out, how that happens. I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised. But this old dude that is coming on the show, and he's listening right now because he listens every week. And he's always, every week he's texting, talking about the show, like, man, that was cool, or this, that, and the other.
Right.
And so that stuff is cool. I know we've said it on here 1,000 times. If you see us out, tell us what you like, what you don't like. Send us messages. But most importantly, if you're not subscribed to this channel, if you're not following the audio podcast, please do those things.
Right. Definitely don't want to miss out.
Don't miss out, because this is we're here all year. This is a little short episode today. It's been a holiday, not a whole lot going on, but usually we've got a lot to talk about. So yeah, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're following us on the audio pods. But you're gonna like this next episode of the Business of Rock Bouncing. Now, speaking of, this is going to go back to our last two episodes. Our last episode we talked about Mid-America. Before that was our Business of Rock Bouncing with Matt Holt. Now, you've heard us say that Matt made a little post on Facebook that got his hand slapped about Mid-America.
Right.
Now, I seen today, and I didn't remember the guy's name. I don't know who he is. May not be anybody important. But he thought it was important today to go back to Matt's post and comment about how they just had a great race weekend at Mid-America, and people shouldn't believe all the rumors that they're hearing and yada, yada, yada. I don't know. Going back to last week, I don't know. I don't know what's going on out there.
Right.
I think it's all, it seems very week to week, month to month to me.
Right. Yeah. And then, we've always tried to tell everybody this is just what we've heard. It's in the rumor mill. But when you hear, there's always some sort of truth in what you hear. And, man, it's hard to ignore as much as we've heard that place is shutting down.
Yeah, I don't, like you said, man, I mean, most rumors start from somewhere.
Right.
They don't just get made up. I don't know. I wish them the best out there, but as more news comes out, and there may not be any more news, but as more comes out, we'll talk about it some more down the road. It may just be status quo, business as usual out there, but we'll see. And like I said last week, if anybody from out there wants to come on, give us a ring. We'll put you on. We'll put you on. We'll talk about it. AOP race this weekend was their, I guess they call it the Adventure Classic. Last year it was a qualifier. Then the main race was in the fall. This year they changed it up. UTVs were this weekend. Big Bouncers are going to be in October. They had a full body class, an unlimited class, and a youth class going on down there this weekend. Didn't get to see a whole lot of footage, but they had some pretty good car counts in those events.
Oh, yeah.
Looked like 20-ish in each class. So, I mean, the racing scene, Outlaw's been drawing big numbers. These kind of events have been drawing big numbers. We're drawing bigger numbers than we ever have, and I'm expecting the same this weekend. I like where racing is going.
Right.
It just keeps getting better, bigger.
Right. Yeah, and it's like even people that don't have anything to race at the moment are still trying to find ways to get involved. I don't know if you caught the video that Bree shared of her dad doing the barrel racing in his pickup truck, his daily driver.
I seen the post. I didn't watch the video, but yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. So it was good to see those guys out having a good time.
That's somebody we need to have on at some point. We need to get Chad on.
Oh man, he's interesting.
Well, he's got a wealth of knowledge.
Yes, that's what I was fixing to say. He's so full of knowledge, and he's got a couple of things going on right now that I don't know. I'm not going to be the one to break the news about it, but he's he's playing around and piddling in his shop, and
Well,
he's got a lot going on.
he's posted the one on Facebook. It's public.
Yeah,
He's building an electric side by side,
yeah,
Tesla powered, I think.
yeah. That'll be cool.
That's going to be cool to see it come out and make some exhibition runs and just see him on the trail. It wasn't 3-4 years ago he had some kind of side by side he had built that come run with us at Dirty Turtle.
Right.
I think it was a manual 5-speed.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it was, but it was cool. Builds a lot of cool stuff. So yeah, I'd like that'd be good. That'd be something to have him on for a little while at some point, especially as he gets his little electric bouncer closer to ready.
Right.
But yeah, I like where the sport's going, man. It's 2 years ago I was having to answer questions, and I don't even know why people were asking me. What have I got to do with it? But they were asking me. They're like, rock bouncing's dying. It's dying. It's going away. I heard so-and-so ain't having a series this year. This ain't doing this. What happened is it got watered down.
Mm-hmm.
You had this series over here trying to make $1. You had this series over here trying to make $1. You had this series over here trying to make $1. You had this one over here trying to make $1. And then you had real racing.
Right.
I mean, am I wrong? There was too much going on.
That's right. You're right.
There was too much going on, and I think weeding some of that out has helped. Just like there was too much of that going on, and then when you show up to a big event and the purse don't get paid out like it's supposed to get paid out, and things like that happen, and that takes me back to dirt tracking. Oh, we're racing for $1,500 tonight or whatever it is, and the race is over. Oh, well, we've only got $800 to give you.
That's right.
That's crap. You advertise a purse. That's what it needs to be. But we were having a few little issues like that with some of the series. But man, I'm happy with where it's at now. We're racing. Let's say you run National Rock, you run Outlaw, you hit a few one-offs here and there. You're looking at 17, 18 weekends a year. That's half a year almost.
That's right.
That's enough. That's enough abuse on you as a person. That's enough abuse on your machine for a year. You start throwing in another 5-race series over here and another 5-race series over here. It wasn't too many years ago. If you wanted to run everywhere and race as much as you could, dude, you were looking at 35 events a year.
Right.
What it wasn't that many years ago when man, I can't remember where National Rock was. I want to say it was at Hawk Pride, but I could be wrong. National Rock raced their UTVs on Friday, and then we were at Rush for Anniversary Bash, and I think it was like Travis Skelton maybe had won the Friday race, National Rock, and at 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, here he comes rolling into Rush to race.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I mean that we were running into that, and when you're fighting for the talent that way, it's just hard.
Yeah.
So a couple years ago, we were answering questions, is rock bouncing dying? And I'm here to tell you that it is not. It is stronger than it's ever been. We're working on, I say we. I'm just here. They're working on TV shows. But it's not going to be TV shows like this Mud Madness show that's on Discovery. It's not going to be a show like that. We're working on a race program.
Right.
Like an NHRA style broadcast like that.
Right.
That's more so what we're working on. there's some things going on that are pretty cool with that. That wasn't going to happen 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm excited. I think this has been so far outside of the bouncer class, which we kind of knew how that was going to go. All the UTV stuff is wide open.
Oh yeah.
The bouncers, I mean, even as dominant as Timmy has been, he's one goof up away from tightening all that back up.
Mm-hmm.
So this is shaping up to be probably one of the best overall, one of the best seasons we ever had. We're halfway through after Hawk Pride, and then we get to come on in between Hawk Pride and our next race and do our mid-season update.
Right.
Talk about all the drivers, where they are, who's where and who's done good and who's not, and make some predictions for the back half of the season. But competition-wise, dude, from top to bottom, competition-wise, this is the stoutest I think it's been.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. We've talked about it before. Like it's crazy that how you can take 20 guys and throw them in a race scenario, and them just be seconds apart between like first and last place.
Well, the Cup race at Rush, the UTV Unlimited Cup race at Rush, you were, and I'm going to use you because you were kind of the bookend, but you had your first place guy run a 44 or whatever it was. You run a 48. You're 10th.
Yeah, 4 seconds.
It's never been that tight.
Right.
It's never been that tight. I don't not to 10th. Maybe to 5th. But I don't think I've ever seen it that tight back that far. So it's getting good. There's some pressure being put on. People are getting faster. Everybody's getting so much faster. And I'll tell you something else. And we'll talk about this more after Hawk Pride. The stock class, my little buddy Braden had a really good year last year.
Yeah.
Stunk up the show this year. Stunk it up. He never could get used to that new car. It was heavy. Wobbles around everywhere. Just wasn't what he wanted. Now that he's down in points and he's bringing back the old car, he ain't got nothing to lose.
Right.
I told him the other day, drive the absolute piss out of that thing. Win every hill, every run, and if you don't, who cares?
That's right.
Go home and put it back together.
That's right.
So I'm excited to see how that plays out for him, if he actually will.
Right.
Because I know he's had some tough luck. But, I mean, that stock class, so competitive. Way more competitive than what it was, especially 2 years ago.
That's right.
But, I don't know. I guess we'll move on. Let's get on to the rundown from AOP. The Adventure Offroad Classic Series UTV race was at AOP. They had 3 classes: full body, unlimited, and a youth class. I've got the results here. Dan, where do you want to start at?
Let's start with the youth.
Youth. Ridge Brown was in 3rd place. Joshua Hammett in 2nd, and Hunter Vargo in 1st. And if you'll go check out Joshua's dad, his Facebook post, I reckon that kid drove everything this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yes, and he's still in the youth class. I reckon he drove, he raced somebody's Razor bouncer in the Unlimited, even got behind the wheel of Hitman, drove it for a while. So that kid, I'd say we're going to have to watch for him in the future.
That's pretty cool. What about the UTV stock class?
Dylan Dowler in third place. Matthew Reed finished second, a name I don't know. And a familiar name, Clay Kaysen, took the win in the full body class.
Oh, look out. Word on the street, I think he's going to be racing the stock class in the NRA race coming up.
Well, he better bring a heavy right foot.
There you go. What about the UTV Unlimited?
All familiar names in this class. Nathaniel Bell in third place, and I do have a really good video of him hitting a tree very hard and still finished in third place. So Nathaniel third, Nathan King in second, and Clay Kaysen double dipped. Got the win in the Unlimited class. Don't know if they've got anything else going on this year other than the bouncer race at the end of the season. I think it was October. Don't hold me to this. 16th, maybe. So that's AOP is always a good place to go spectate, especially if they get into these old school bounty hills. They can put some real beat downs down at AOP. That place is brutal, so brutal.
Right.
Wayne County Fair race July 5th. $1,100 guaranteed to the winner at the moment. 10 chassis show up. Dan's putting in another $500. That's $1,600 to the winner. We're also running a raffle at the shop for a set of Super Grip XT tires and Super Grip bead locks. You can get entered at the store in person, and every Rock Life Off-Road hat or Pit Crew shirt sold online is getting an entry as well. So if you can't make it to the store and you want to get entered, get online and get you one of those Rock Life hats, or get you one of the new Pit Crew shirts, or one of the 22 or 23 edition Pit Crew shirts that we have on discount. Guys, we got Hawk Pride coming up this weekend. Should be a good time. We'll be back next week. Do a little Hawk Pride recap. Then we've got a while before our next race in West Virginia. So stay tuned. We've got some cool stuff coming. Daniel, short and sweet this week, buddy. Happy Memorial Day, buddy.
Happy Memorial Day to y'all. Everybody be safe.
Peace out.